Good morning students. So in last video we studied about the multi-purpose river valley projects. In multi-purpose river valley projects there are totally 8. In that you studied about 5. One is Damodar valley project, second is Bhakranangal, next is Hirakud and Tungabhadra and Upper Krishna project. So the next is the Kosi project. So here the Kosi project. So this river Kosi it is called as sorrow of Bihar. Why? Because it caused flood and it caused lot of problems to the people of Bihar. So it was called as sorrow of Bihar. Here the Kosi project. It is an international project and a joint venture of India and Nepal. Understood? So it is an international project. International means India and other country. Two countries together they have built this project, so it is called as international project and joint venture of India and Nepal. A dam is built across river Kosi near Hanuman Nagar in Nepal. Here a bridge is built across this river, that is Kosi in Hanuman Nagar in Nepal. The main objectives of this project are irrigation, flood control, hydropower generation and fishing. Here again the aims are same: generation of hydroelectricity power, controlling of the floods, fishing, and also the water is used for different purpose, that is irrigation and all. The project has been executed by India, but the benefits are shared both by India and Nepal. Understood? This project, that is Kosi project, it is executed by India, but it is shared by both. The benefits are shared by both, that is India and Nepal. Next is the Rihand Valley project. So here this is the most important multi-purpose river valley project of Uttar Pradesh. So here this Rihand project, river valley project, it is a very important project of river valley project of Uttar Pradesh. Built across Rihand river, a tributary of the Son. So Rihand river is there, no? Its tributary Son is there, and to that they have built this dam or project. Flood control, prevention of soil erosion, inland fishing, provides irrigation and power generation are the main aims of the project. So again the aims are same: fishing and soil control, flood control and irrigation and also power generation. Here the reservoir created by this dam is called Govind Balla Pant Sagar. So here the reservoir of this Rihand valley is Govind Balla Pant Sagar. That is the name of that reservoir is. Next is the Nagarjuna Sagar project. It is built across river Krishna near Nagarjuna Konda in Telangana. Understood? So this across river Krishna in Nagarjuna Konda in Telangana. Irrigation and power generation are the main aims of the project. Understood? Irrigation and power generation means production of hydroelectricity are the main aims. So next here, do you know river Kosi was called the sorrow of Bihar, river Mahanadi was called the sorrow of Odisha. The right bank canal of Nagarjuna Sagar project is called Jawahar Canal and left bank canal is called Lal Bahadur Canal. So next we write down the fill in the blanks. First one, river Indus rises near dash, Mount Kailash. Next, second one is the longest river in South India is Godavari. Third one, Hirakud project is built across Mahanadi river. Next, fourth one, it is the longest tributary of Ganga is Yamuna. Next, fifth one, the Kosi project is a joint venture of India and Nepal. So here see the 5 in the blanks are finished. Next, question and answers. First one, explain the Brahmaputra river system. So see page number 121. Brahmaputra rises near Lake Manas Sarovar. It is there. No, that full para I should write. River system is where it rises, where it flows, and where it joins. It joins to Bay of Bengal. Here, the Brahmaputra rises near Lake Manas Sarovara, Tibet, and flows towards the east. It enters India through a narrow gorge in Arunachal Pradesh. Then it flows to West Bengal. Then it flows to west and turns to the south in Bangladesh, where it joins the Ganga. Its length is 2,589 kilometers. So this much you have to write. Next is second one. What is irrigation? Mention its main types in India. So here irrigation, page number 122. What is irrigation? They have asked to know. For that you should write. Meaning is there now. See, irrigation, the artificial supply of water for the purpose of agriculture is called irrigation. Next, mention its main types in India. So the types which are there. See, a well irrigation. In well irrigation again there are two. One is open wells and tube wells. Second one is canal irrigation. Again in canal irrigation there are two. Inundation canal irrigation and perennial canal irrigation. And the last third one is tank irrigation. So you have to write. You should write types of irrigation. In that you should mention. Next, why is irrigation important in India? So see again page number 122. The need of irrigation. The need of irrigation. See that para is this. India is an agricultural country. Therefore, it needs a regular and sufficient supply of water. Agriculture in India depends mainly on monsoon rainfall. It is seasonal, uncertain, and unevenly distributed. So, irrigation is important in India. So much you can write. See here, whatever that paragraph answer is there, you should write point wise. Next, what is multi-purpose river valley project? See page number 123, multi-purpose river valley project heading is there. No, below that two lines para is there. See, the river valley projects which provide multiple benefits are called multi-purpose river valley projects. Only so much you should write. Next, fifth one, write a note on Almaty river valley project. So here Almaty river valley project, page number 125. So here first you should write Almaty river valley project is a part of Upper Krishna project. Understood? It's a part of Upper Krishna project. First you should write. Next, second point you should write. The second point here, second para is this Upper Krishna project. In that second para is there, no? That you can start here. The Almaty Dam is constructed near Almaty village in Basavan Bagewadi Taluk and the Narayanpur Dam. Sorry, only till Basavan Bagewadi Taluk. Only till there you should write. Next point you should write. Before that, the Almaty Dam is there. Before that one para is there. No, the last line. Here, the main aim of the project is to provide irrigation, drinking water, and to generate hydroelectricity. That much you should write. Here, 3 to 4 points it will become. That much you write. You can write one more point here. It is built across the river Krishna in Karnataka. Next, sixth one. Explain the importance and distribution of well irrigation. So here well irrigation, page number 122. You should write in that well irrigation heading is there. From there you should start. See well irrigation. It is, don't write it. You can start direct. Well irrigation is the most important type of irrigation in India. Nearly 60.7% of the total irrigated area is from well irrigation. Well irrigation is possible even in areas of low rainfall. It is cheap and easy to dig wells and they do not require superior technology. It is easy even for small farmers to dig wells. So much you should write for well irrigation. Next. Next, see here, match the following. See here, middle questions which are important and all I have explained you already. I have said about that for you all. So see here the main aims of multipurpose river valley project, that is also important. And again here east flowing rivers, west flowing rivers, that is important. They might ask you a difference about that. So whatever the important questions are there, the middle questions I have said you. Now next, match the following. First one, see Nagarjuna Sagar, Telangana. Second one, Bhakra Nangal, Himachal Pradesh. Third one, Hirakud, Odisha. Fourth one, Tungabhadra, Karnataka. So here match the following has been finished. So we shall start with next lesson, that is Indian land resources. This is Indian land resources. So you studied about soils, forest, climate, physiography, and river, water resources. Now it is land resources. So this is last chapter of your first part. So see, land use pattern of India. See, first of all, meaning. The distribution of land for different uses such as forestry, cultivation, pastures, etc. is called land use or land utilization. It is determined by various factors such as relief features, climate, soil, population, density, socio-economic and technical factors. So here, land resources. So here whatever the land is available to us, how we make use of that land. Understood? Either we use it for agriculture, either we use it for construction of industries, for urbanization, or for pastures, and also for mining. Various things are there. So how we make use of that land is known as land use or land utilization. So see, land is one of the most important natural resources of our country. Its proper use is very essential for the growth of economy. So whatever land is available to us, its proper use. And so the making proper use of that land is very much important for the economy of our country. Understood? Why? Because see, in some areas the climatic conditions are different. In some areas see, it's very cold. There continuously snowfall is there. There what will happen? The density of population will be less. Their urbanization will be less. The industrialization also will be less. So the land use of that region will be less. Understood? It is less used for agriculture and all. Why? Because due to climatic conditions. So here economy also depends upon the usage of land. Understood? So here classification. Based on that land use, it is classified into different types. So here in India, the land use pattern can be classified into 7 categories. So totally in how much sections it is classified? Into 7 categories. First one is the net area sown, means the land which we use for agriculture, for cultivation, that is known as net area of sown. Next, forest area. Understood? So few areas there where naturally the forest grows, so that is known as forest area. Next, land not available for cultivation, means such land is there which is not at all fertile and all, which is not at all suitable for agriculture and all. So that land we called it as land not suitable for cultivation or available for cultivation. Next is fallow land. Fallow land means the land which was earlier cultivated or used for agriculture, but now it is left out. Understood? Left out for few years, where cultivation is not at all possible. Next, cultivable waste. The soil which has few deficiencies in that, so that it is not at all used for cultivation. Next, permanent pasture and other grazing land. So few land is there where only pasture they grow. Pasture means it's a fodder for food for domestic animals and other animals, rearing animals. Understood? So here, so that land is used for pasture only. So that is known as pasture land. Next, land under miscellaneous uses. Here the land which is again used for different purposes, that is known as miscellaneous use. Here first one is net area sown. It includes land that can be used to cultivate crops. This category is very important in an agricultural country like India. It accounts for about 42.42% of the total reported area of India. However, it is not evenly distributed all over the country. The highest Punjab, Haryana, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh and Kerala. It is least in the northeastern states and medium in other states. So here this land is very important for agriculture or for cultivation. So it is known as net area sown. So it is about 42.42% and already you know the states which all I have read now, there it is divided. Next, forest area. In India only 22.8% of the total reported area is under forest. In India, the total area or the total land which is under forest is 22.8%. It is high in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and in the northeastern states. It is least in the states of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. So the area is high in Andaman and Nicobar Islands and very less in Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Next is land not available for cultivation. So see, land used for non-agricultural purpose like human settlements, roads, railways, canals, mountains, sandy waste, etc. come under this category. Understood? So the land which is not at all suitable for cultivation or for any other uses. Understood? Where the soil is sandy and all. So such area we call it as land not available for cultivation. See here, etc. come under this category. Nearly 14.1% of the total reported area of the country belongs to this category. So total in India the area is 14.1%. It is largely found in Assam, Manipur, Sikkim, but in low proportion in Goa, Kerala, Odisha and Maharashtra. Understood? So in these all states, that is Assam, Manipur and Sikkim, it is large and very less in Goa, Kerala, Odisha and Maharashtra. Next is fallow land. It refers to the land which is not used for cultivation. It accounts to 8.2% of the reported area. Understood? So here the land is very less, 8.2% it is, and it is not at all suitable for cultivation. Means earlier it was used for cultivation, but to retain fertility and all, that land is kept like that only. So in India total the area is 8.2%. It is largely found in Mizoram, Tamil Nadu and Meghalaya and less in Tripura, Puducherry, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Next is cultivable waste land. Here it includes the land which is not taken up for cultivation due to certain soil deficiencies. It is extensive in the states of Meghalaya, Goa, Nagaland and Rajasthan. So here the land cultivable waste means the land which is there, it is not suitable for cultivation. It doesn't have that things, that minerals or that matter in the soil. The fertility of the soil will be very less. Understood? Where the agriculture produce will be less or it will be not properly done. So that land is called as cultivable waste and it accounts about 4.3%. So it is in Meghalaya, Goa, Nagaland and Rajasthan states. Next is permanent pastures and other grazing lands. So here it accounts for only 3.4% of the total reporting area in India. So here the total land is there, in that 3.4% is there for this pasture. And so for grazing purpose they have kept that. Continuously there only pastures are grown. That is fodder like grass and all, which is useful for the animals. The total reporting area in India is 3.4%. It is largely found in Himachal Pradesh, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. So in these all states you can find this permanent pastures. Next is land used under miscellaneous uses. Here it includes gardens, orchards and plantation, which accounts for only 1.1% of total area in the country. So here the land which is used for garden and for other purposes like growing fruits, trees and all, orchard as means. So the plantation. So that is 1.1% of total that land in India is 1.1%. So this land is mostly in Assam, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Kerala, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, etc. So in these all places you can find this kind of land. Next is agriculture. So here in agriculture, see meaning. Tilling of the soil for raising food crops and raw materials needed by human beings is called agriculture. Now the term is also extended to include stock raising, poultry farming and bee keeping. So here the term agriculture, you know what is the meaning of agriculture? Tilling of the land and they are growing or cultivating some agriculture produce, that is known as agriculture. But nowadays even beekeeping, this poultry farming and cattle rearing, those all come under agriculture. Understood? So next importance here, agriculture is one of the most important and ancient occupation of human beings. India is a country known for agriculture. Nearly 65% of the people depend on agriculture. The economic progress of the country depends on the progress of agriculture. So here agriculture is very important in India. Why? Because most of the people, they do agriculture. Agriculture is only their main important occupation. So about 65% of people, they depend upon agriculture. So it is also helpful for the economy of our country. Next here, agriculture in India is the main source of livelihood. It is main source of food for the people and fodder for domestic animals. It is a source of national income and revenue. Agriculture supports tertiary sectors like trade, transport, banking, insurance, etc. It also has influence on the political and social situation of the country. It supports many industries, that is cotton and jute textile, sugar industry, etc. So see here, agriculture is very important. Why? Because it helps the economy of our country. Not only economy, but also it is fodder. It is fodder for many other animals. Understood? The animals which are reared for different purposes, for milk it might be, for poultry farms it might be, anything it might be. So those all materials we get from this agriculture. And also many industries are there which depend upon agriculture. Why? Because they get raw material from agriculture, like jute industry, cotton industry, sugar industry and many other. So agriculture, it is a primary sector work, but it also helps the secondary and tertiary sector like transport, trade, communication, etc. Everything, the agriculture, due to agriculture, everything goes on working. Understood? So these all sectors are important. Next here, types of agriculture. On account of geographical and socio-economic factors, various types of farming are practiced in India. They are as follows. So already I said you, based on the geographical location, also based on the climatic condition, based on the soil and all, the type of agriculture where they do, that is very important, and it is dependent on the climatic condition, the soil, the water and all. So here we are as follows. See, based on that all, whatever the practice we practice, the agriculture, they are here. First one is subsistence farming. In that subsistence farming, again there are two. One is shifting farming and another one is sedentary farming. And the second one is intensive farming. Third one is commercial farming. Fourth one is mixed farming. Fifth one is plantation farming. Next, sixth one is dry farming. Seventh one is humid farming. Eighth one is irrigation farming. So in this way it is divided into 8 types of farming. Subsistence farming. So here in subsistence farming, a type of farming. See, a type of farming in which the production of crops is consumed almost by the farmer and his family, leaving only a small portion for sale. Farmers used primitive methods of cultivation. It is widely practiced in the northeastern states, Odisha and Madhya Pradesh. So here, subsistencing farming. The meaning of subsistencing is what? Helping or supporting. Understood? So here, subsistencing farming means the farmer, whatever he grows, whatever the agriculture he produces there, what he does, the large portion of that is kept for his family, means his relatives, for himself and all. And only a small portion of that is given for sale. Understood? He sells only a little portion, but the large portion is kept for himself. So such farming is known as subsistence farming. He does this farming how? By making use of primitive methods. Means he doesn't use here any fertilizers or any medicines, anything to kill the insects and all for agriculture produce. Understood? He doesn't use here any artificial things at all. So this type of farming is largely practiced in northeastern states, like states like Odisha and Madhya Pradesh. Again, this subsistence farming is divided into two types. One is shifting subsistence farming and another one is sedentary subsistence farming. So in that sense, shifting, the name itself tells us, shifting the places. Understood? One place you will do agriculture, again you leave it for few years, you do, again you leave it for few years, again you go to different place and you practice the agriculture there. So the name itself tells shifting farming. So it is a type of agriculture in which a patch of forest is cleared and burnt to be cultivated for a few years until the fertility of the soil is reduced. The land is then abandoned and new forest areas are cleared and burnt for cultivation. It is practiced by the tribals in the forest areas, that is Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Odisha. So see here the name itself tells shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation means a land is taken, especially in the forest area. There continuously for years together they practice agriculture, and when the soil loses fertility, what they do? They leave that agriculture there and again next they go to different place. There again the forest is cleared and there again the agriculture is practiced. So nowadays this kind of practice we can't see. It was in the earlier days, especially the tribal people, they used to do this type of farming. Especially here in forest areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Odisha. Understood? So here the shifting farming is called Juming in Assam, Poonam in Kerala, Kodu in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Understood? So in different places their different names are given. So next is the sedentary farming. So here it is cultivation of land at a fixed location instead of shifting from one place to another. So here sedentary farming means it's opposite of shifting farming. Shifting means shifting the land. Sedentary means fixed. You will there only have to do the farming, what we all practice in our surrounding villages and all. So this type of farming is commonly seen everywhere. It is cultivation of land at a fixed location instead of shifting from one place to another. The farmland is not abandoned but cultivated year after year. Abandoned means not going from there, not using that. That is known as abandoned, banning that thing. Here the land is not at all abandoned but it is used, and here different crops are grown year after year so that the soil it will not lose its fertility. Next is here intensive farming. Next is the intensive farming. A method of farming in which a large amount of capital and labor are applied per unit of land is called intensive farming. Under this type of farming, land is cultivated intensively throughout the year. Farmers try to raise 2 or more crops to get maximum production from small land holdings. It is common in the fertile and irrigated areas of the country. So here intensive farming means the farmer what he does, he gives more attention here. He gets commercially the field is very important. He tries to raise more crops. He spends more amount, that is more money and labor on that particular field. Understood? These mostly their fields are irrigated fields. Here what happens if the small area is there, the farmers he tries to raise more crops. The production should be more in that much only area. He tries to do such type of farming there. And so that economically he can get more profit from that land. So here this type of farming is known as intensive farming. Next is commercial farming. A system of farming in which crops are grown for the market is called commercial farming. Under this type of farming, only cash crops are cultivated on a large scale using small amount of labor, machinery and scientific methods of cultivation. See, the name itself tells commercial farming. Commercial means it is done to raise the profit, to earn more money. So here almost mostly the vegetables or the cash crops are grown, which are sold in the market, by which he will get more money. So this kind of farming is known as commercial farming. Here what he does, he makes use of minimum machinery, labors and many other techniques. That is scientific method of cultivation he used, and he tries to get large production. Understood? Large agriculture produce. Next is mixed farming. Agriculture involving the cultivation of crops and livestock rearing is called mixed farming. Farmers get income from both. It has been introduced in India since 1951. Now it has become popular in many states. So here this mixed farming. Mixed farming, the name itself tells. Here with farming the another work also is done, like livestock, poultry farm, beekeeping and all. So here see, he does both farming and as well as cattle rearing or livestock rearing. So it was introduced in India since 1951 and from then onwards it has been practiced. Next is plantation farming. It refers to the cultivation of single crop on large estates for the market. It requires more labor and capital. Tea, coffee, rubber and coconut are the important plantation crops of India. So see, plantation crops you might have seen that in Assam and all what happens, the plantation crops, teas and all, large estates are there, large fields are there, farms are there. So here on large account they are grown and continuously that only is grown. There another agriculture produce cannot be done there. So here see such plantation crops like tea, coffee, rubber, jute, coconut and all are planted in such type of agriculture is done. So it is known as plantation farming. Next is dry farming. The name itself tells dry. Dry means where the rainfall is very less and with using minimum water you can do that kind of farming. A method of farming carried on in areas which receives scanty rainfall and where irrigation is either absent or limited is called dry farming. It is mainly practiced in peninsular India and in western Rajasthan. So see, where the rainfall is scanty means where it is insufficient, where you don't get sufficient rainfall, where irrigation is not at all possible. In such areas you practice dry farming. Understood? So this is practiced especially in western Rajasthan and in peninsular area. Peninsular area means Deccan Plateau and all. Next is here humid farming. It refers to the cultivation of crops in areas which receives sufficient rainfall. Crops are grown without the help of irrigation. It is found along the west coast and other areas receive sufficient rainfall. So here humid farming. Humid farming, it refers to the areas where the rainfall is more and so sufficient rainfall is there and such crops are grown along west coast and all, where the rainfall is more and even the temperature which has more humidity in it. Understood? So in these areas it is grown. Next see irrigation farming. A method of farming under which crops are grown with the help of irrigation is called irrigation farming. It is expensive but essential in India where the rainfall is seasonal, uncertain and insufficient. So here the name itself tells irrigation farming. Irrigation farming means where the lands or the fields they are irrigated. Why? Because in India the rainfall is uneven and uncertain. So we can't say that this time this much only rainfall will happen. It will occur. So here what happens, irrigation is very necessary. So the fields or the agriculture which depends upon the irrigation, such type of farming is known as irrigation farming. So here I ended today with so much. In next video I will explain about the remaining lesson. So thank you students.